Chapter 30, Air Brake Foundation Systems and Air Brake Circuits, Day 1, Video 2, Advantages and Disadvantages. Starting with the advantages of the air brake system, as opposed to a hydraulic brake system, we are the energy that we use to apply the brakes has already been is the energy in compressed air. So the driver is not really utilizing or creating that pressure by pushing down the brake pedal. He's mainly just opening and closing a valve to allow that pressurized air to flow through. So it makes it very easy for people of different sizes and strength still be able to have effective brakes with an air brake system. We can take and compress that air, store that air in reservoirs throughout the truck, and we've got multiple applications of brake stored air pressure there to make multiple brake applications. So it makes it nice to we've got a reserve of braking pressure. The supply of air is limitless. Anywhere we go on this planet, there is a unlimited supply of air. All we have to do is compress it and store it, and now that truck can use that for the braking system. And then also allows for minor leaks without losing any braking. So it's really not uncommon to have multiple small leaks of the air brake system, and that's not going to affect the application of the brakes like we would have in a closed system with the hydraulic brake system. We can couple and uncouple from the tractor to trailers very easily with just a couple of quick disconnect air hoses. So now we can expand the braking system without special training or special tools or anything like that. We just have the driver able to go over there and couple the red coupler to the red one and the blue one to the blue, and now we've expanded the brake system on that very easily. And then the air brake systems, the foundation brakes, are very simple braking systems as compared to a hydraulic, the different types of the hydraulic braking systems. So a lot of very effective brakes, very few components in there. Disadvantages to the air brake system: we can't just take the air from the atmosphere and use it in our brake system. We have to compress it, pressurize it, and then store it. And then it has to be filtered and cleaned so that it is usable in this braking system. So a little bit of work needs to be done there. Brake lag, which means between the time between when the driver pushes down on the brake pedal to when there is actually a application of the brakes, there's a little bit of a delay there. So a little bit of driver training and just experience with using that brake system to understand that brake lag. We have to control the controlling of the air as it moves through this system. To be able to use it requires a lot of valves and a lot of components. Some of the disadvantage of the air system, we have to add other components in there to make up for that. So it adds to a little bit more of a complex system. We have to wait, so there's delay when we first start the truck up because we have to compress all that air and store it in those reservoirs before we can move the truck. So a little bit of a delay there until the air system builds up enough pressure to where it's safe to move and safe to operate. The feedback that the driver gets from the pedal is not proportional to how hard he's pushing down. We don't have the brake feel like we do with a hydraulic braking system because you're working against a spring inside of a valve with your foot, so we don't get the feel that we do with the hydraulic braking system. We have lower system pressure in an air brake system, 120, 130 psi, as opposed to 800 to 1,000 to maybe 1,200 psi in a hydraulic brake system. That requires larger lines to deliver that air pressure, bigger components to be able to accommodate that so the air can flow through them quickly enough. The complexity of the air brake system due to all of those components, all the different valves in there to make up for the shortcomings of an air brake system. It makes it very complex to work on when we're troubleshooting it. So some education, specific education for the technicians working on it so they can understand the system so they can troubleshoot it. And then the fact that we can have contaminated air, moisture in there is to a disadvantage of the air brake system. That can cause the moisture in there can displace oxygen, or displace compressed air, and it can lead to freezing. So those components would freeze up.